the year 2021 budget. We prepared a budget. What have we done in the past? Going over the items one by one?
Yeah, we could do
Okay.
that if you want.
All right. Just for the record, first item is 180,000 for the necessary pension plan, LoSAP. In the last year, we billed 172,000, so we're budgeting slightly higher. Workman's comp insurance, we have budgeted for 72,000 in line with the previous year. 20,000 for cancer life insurance for those members who are active interior firefighters. We put a new line in for employee compensation. In the event next year that we have to consider beginning to retain paid personnel, but that's an open item to discussion. In contractual expenses, we have 50,000 for payment of the secretary treasurer, special district taxes to the town of Newcastle for such things as the lighting district, sidewalk district, etc., which even though we're tax exempt, we still have to pay special district taxes. And the trainings online solution at $2,400. We're budgeting another $100,000 for the truck reserve, 195,000 for the building reserve, and 10,000 for the small truck reserve. Chief's operating expenses, 10,000, same as last year. Computer technology is the same at 20,000 from last year. Dues, convention, and training, because of the virtual training, etc. More of our stuff is being done online with a cost, so we've increased that from 15 to 30,000. Fuel for vehicles, in line with what we currently is, we're retaining 12,000. Heat, light, and utilities for Con Ed and the oil, 35,000, same as last year. The hydrant rental to Mount Pleasant and the town of Newcastle for the various hydrants within the two districts. We paid slightly over 100,000, 101,000. We budgeted for 110 to allow for possible increases from those two. Annual inspection is budgeted 23,500. Medical expenses, which is primarily for the mandated state physicals, was 20,000 last year. We retained the same limit. We're paying the Mount Kisco Fire District or Mount Village of Mount Kisco 65,000 for the area immediately around Mount Kisco Country Club, where they're the first responding, even though it's in our territory. We're carrying the figures forward the same as we did before. Insurance at 61,000, in line with what we previously paid. Postage, we have been spending somewhat more in postage, so we've increased that from 2,500 to 44,000. Professional legal fees, we've retained at 37,000. Repairs for equipment was 90,000 last year. We retained the same line item. Repairs and maintenance for trucks, we were 70,000 last year. We retained the same limit. Repairs and maintenance on the buildings, we slightly increased by approximately 1,900 to 110,000 for that item. Communication radio expenses with the anticipated beginning of the upgrade from the county of Westchester, we're retaining the same 40,000 limit for new vehicles, plus whatever we're going to have to do in buying for equipment that's not covered by the county contract. $7,000 for water purchase, 16,000 for telephone and wireless connection, primarily paid to Verizon. 60,000 for purchase of new turnout gear as part of the program of for those who are interior firefighters on a regular basis, having them 2 separate. Good morning or good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
we're just going over the contract on a line item basis for anybody who may be listening in. We budgeted same $3,000 for certiorari paybacks. The debt for the existing tear down of the building next door, plus the purchase of that land, the payments are $95,000. They're going up slightly, so we budgeted $100,000 for that, and the interest last year was 80. We budgeted 79,615, since it's down slightly from what it was before. And that basically summarizes it. Total anticipated expenses for the year will be $1,660,115, which is just slightly above what we had last year. I don't know if any member of the public would like to comment or not.
Yeah, I got a question on the communications budget line. That should have been
Right.
$40,000 on top of whatever we normally carry, because with the addition of purchasing pagers and the other equipment, that's going to eat up potentially almost all of that 40. So you won't have stuff to do anything else, like your siren, if it had to get batteries, any of that kind of stuff. So I don't know how you came up with that number. But the initial was, we guesstimated that it was going to be about $40,000 in addition to what we normally spend.
This year, it's, we only spent like 2,000, I think, 2,500 so far.
Okay, I'm just telling you that if it's 40, you're going to eat up almost all that 40 on new equipment.
You want to raise that up a little bit more, and
I would like to take some money out of the turnout gear budget and use it towards that, because you're not going to need that amount of money in turnout gear.
you want to put 50,000 or
Yeah, and yeah, I would.
Reverse the two amounts. Put 60,000 for communication, radios, and 40,000 for.
I would do, like,
50-50?
Hold on. They muted me. Hold on.
50-50. 50,000.
All right, Russell, you're on here twice, so I got to pick one to mute. So I'm going to,
You hear me now?
that sounds
Okay.
Well, you had indicated turnout gear on the 22. But you gave me 41.5 for turnout gear.
Right.
Right, let's drop it down to 50 and raise communication radios 50.
Okay, we can do that.
It's just to cover your butt, because there are too many unknowns on when it's going to happen and what's going to be entailed. And now
Right.
that
We'll
we
do
have
it.
the change in leadership here, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's thrown into the mix. So,
Okay.
All right, so 8225 turnout gear would be reduced to 50,000, and 8220 would be raised from 40 to 50,
Yep.
leaving 50 on each line item.
yeah.
okay.
Now, the rest of your items that you gave us are in some cases parceled out into some of these line items rather than the specific, but we did give you the full amount of that 223 that you asked for.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're covered.
Okay. Anything else that you see?
Now, the only other thing that I would tell you is whether you do it this year or next year, you're going to have to start putting money away for the potential of career staff.
That's what we did.
Okay,
Started with
I didn't hear that part. So if we don't get a positive result to our referendum, and we're exposing our people to the levels of cancer causing agents, and then tell them that there's nothing that we can do to protect them, we're going to be in a world of crap.
Well, what we have is we have 25 to start. Next year, we'll add another 25.
Yeah,
We'll
well,
grab-
that'll
build
fund
it up.
about half a guy.
Pardon?
That'll fund about half a person.
I understand. We're assuming we may not have to do it for another 3 or 4 years, let's put it that way.
Yes, sir.
And by that point, we would have brought it up to a point that would be able to do it without too much aggravation beyond that point. Anything else to discuss?
Nope.
Nothing from the public? All right, then I will move that we accept this as a tentative budget, subject to final budget on the, well, we'll have to have another hearing on the 20th to formally adopt this one, and then send it on to the towns Newcastle and Mount Pleasant.
Let me just check those dates. So on the 20th, we have our public hearing.
Correct.
And then with public comments, we can adjust the budget as we so please, and we could adopt it as late as November 4th.
No, I prefer to do it on the 20th unless it's something major. I'd prefer to do it on the 20th to get it into the towns, because the towns have got to start wrapping up their budgets, and they've got to be able to figure in what they're going to have to collect from us, or for us, from the property owners.
Yeah, I got a tentative roll. I think you saw it. I sent it in the email today from the town of Newcastle. So I guess they're still adjusting their roll.
Yes,
I don't know when they
Yeah.
freeze it, but the numbers are changing.
they have to freeze their budget by the, I think it's about the 3rd or 4th week in November. So what we're doing is we get it on the 20th. That takes us off their hook and include it, but gives them another 30 days to finish their budget, and then at the same time calculate what they have to collect on our behalf from the 2 municipalities.
Right. I'm wondering when the assessor freezes his roll.
The assessment rolls have been frozen.
He gave me tentative numbers.
The latest ones I know, because I posted on their website, came out last week. So I don't know when the last time you might have checked are.
He said
Yeah.
it's very preliminary today. He told me that today.
Okay, that's interesting.
What I'm saying is, we signed off on the final townwide assessment rolls for the total volume within the town approximately 3 weeks ago. That's the assessment board of review. We have to sign the sheets and they go to the state. So now the state has to work on them and come back on them. But as far as the town of Newcastle assessed rolls, subject to certiorari proceedings in the tax court, are fixed for the next year. That's done.
Do you ever go in and see Josh?
Well, Josh is, again, he has some, if he's getting certiorari hearings back, he has to make final adjustments. But what I'm saying is the preponderance of the tax rolls are already fixed once the 5 members of the assessment board of review signed off on them, which was about 3 weeks ago.
Okay, got it.
Well, there may be some minor adjustments, but we are very minor.
Okay.
Thank you, Robin, for your help.
Oh, no problem. And this is based on us not overriding the tax cap, this budget number.
Correct.
And
Correct.
that's everyone's plan to date. I just have to make sure I file that tax cap form the day before you're ready to adopt.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't go over.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, make a motion.
Make a motion, second, to adopt the tentative budget.
Yep.
In preparation for the final budget on the 20th. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Everybody go home.